You know, one of the things that I want to make very, very clear for all my subscribers, I respect you guys so much, and I want you to know that anytime I talk about a product on my channel, and I am not like a review guy, right? The only things that I'm going to be talking about on my channel for products are the stuff that I myself just love and use myself. So if I put out a video and I'm super excited about it, and then a month down the road, 6 months down the road, whatever it is, I have a different experience with it, I'm going to tell you, okay? I've got nothing to gain here. No one's paying me for making these videos. I'm not looking to create any drama on my channel in hopes to get more subscribers. I keep things very, very real, direct, and honest. And if I see that something isn't working, I'm going to be the first to tell you because I feel that responsibility, okay? I love all you guys. All right, with that said, here's kind of what I've experienced with the EOS R. So at this point, I've put between 10 and 15,000 shots on the camera, give or take, between weddings and personal projects and client sessions and things like that. Now, the first thing I think I noticed was there was a couple times, maybe twice in that time, I picked up the camera, it was already on, I wake it up and I look through the EVF and I noticed that all the data was just missing in the EVF. So like the text that tells you the shutter speed and all that information was completely gone. The AF box was just gone. The EVF would work okay, I could see through it, but there was just no information there. There was no way to move the AF point. Like I could take a picture okay, and I guess it was focusing on wherever maybe the point was left at, but I couldn't see it. So I had to power cycle the camera, turn it back on, and sure enough, it was fine again. So that was kind of one little bug that I've noticed, and you know, no big deal. Those are the types of things that I know will get addressed very shortly with a firmware update. Okay. Over this past weekend, I had 3 photo shoots. By the way, on Saturday, we shot an amazing, you're going to love this video. This is just like a cheap little cell phone video to get information out to you as quickly as possible. I'm very busy, so I didn't have time to set up anything fancy for today's video. But on Saturday, I had my production team out. We did an amazing video review of the Profoto B10s, and I'm very excited for that. And we put well over 1,000 frames on the EOS R. We were using that camera obviously in conjunction with the B10s. Super sexy model for this video. You guys are gonna have some eye candy coming up. I'm real excited. I'm hoping to get this thing edited by the end of the week. I definitely want it done before I go off and teach my Nevada workshop out in the desert, which is on the 30th, so it'll definitely be done before that. I'm hoping for this week just to keep production going. Anyway, we did that video in photo shoot, and even on that shoot, I noticed there were a couple times I went to go pick up the camera, and the data was in the EVF, but I couldn't move the AF point with the swipe, nor could I move it on the touchpad. It just was like frozen. I could see the point though this time, and I could see all the data, and I could change the data in the EVF. Like if I moved the shutter speed, it would update and things like that. But I couldn't move the autofocus point whatsoever. It was just frozen. And again, power cycle the camera, and then it would come back. That was one thing that. So there's been a little bit of bugs there. Like I'll be shooting along, and then all of a sudden, I can't move the AF point, and I have to reboot the camera. That's only happened literally, I think maybe 2 or 3 times in about a month worth of using it pretty consistently. So, you know, none of these are deal breakers. I'm still super, super excited with the camera. Nothing that I've seen has changed my opinion of the camera, and I'm patient and I'm understanding, and I know this is a first gen product. It's right out of the gate. Canon is going to release a firmware. They've already announced that they're going to release a firmware update, which I think will address a majority of all these things. Another thing that I've noticed, and I don't know, this could be me, it's hard to tell, and that's auto ISO. There's been a number of times where I was shooting along, where everything was stapled down. I only shoot manual, guys, so I'm in manual mode 100% of the time. To be honest, I've never taken a single picture in any other mode other than manual. Manual mode, manual ISO, everything's dialed in for the shots and shoots that I'm doing. But I remember I was shooting one of the models recently, and all of a sudden I noticed the exposure was jumping around. I was like, well, what's going on? And then I would have held the camera and I looked down, and I noticed that the ISO kept jumping around and it said auto, and I was like, oh, that's weird. So then I would go and change it to 100 ISO, which is what we were using out in bright daylight. And then I noticed I put the camera up to my face, I take a few frames, and then it would change again back to auto. And I was like, what's going on? So I kept wrestling with it back and forth. I felt like it kept wanting to jump to auto ISO for some reason. I don't know. I don't know if when I put it to 100, maybe I'm clicking once too many, and then it gets into auto mode. I don't know. But it has been a little annoying, and it has caused a little frustration out there. My gut feeling says that's another bug. I just don't know, and I can't replicate any of these problems so far. These are just things that have happened, again, very sporadically. I don't know. Now, let me just get to the punch here. Here's the problem that I can replicate, and I'm going to take you in a minute behind the scenes, and I'm going to show you this problem. So this is something that I didn't notice initially at all in any of the initial photo shoots that I did. I didn't notice it at the wedding that I shot with it. When I did my Instagram live review of the EOS R, at that point I had not noticed this issue because it just wasn't in the right circumstances. However, I've since been in various circumstances, and now I have seen this issue. And this is a bright band line that appears at the top of the frame under high-speed sync when using off-camera flash in manual mode. So let me repeat this, okay? So the camera has to be, above 200th of a second, so a thousandth of, let's say 1/1000th of a second. It could be anything, right? Anything beyond the native sync of the camera, using off-camera flash with a remote, and then you're not using TTL, so the flash is manually dialed in. In TTL mode, there's no problem. Like, there's no band, there's no issue. It's when the flash is in manual power, you're going to see a bright band. And I'll demonstrate this in just 1 second so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Do know that I have tried this with both the ProPhoto system and the Godox Speedlights, and I get the identical problem, and it's identical. Like, the size of the band is the same. This isn't a situation, guys, where you're seeing the shutter itself, I don't believe. It's not like I'm, like if you try to shoot beyond the sync speed and you don't enable high-speed mode on the lights or whatever, you'll see the dark bands from the shutter. This is not that problem. This is definitely a timing problem of some type, but it's a different type of issue. This is something that I've never seen before, and I was wondering if it was just my camera. There's a guy out in Maui, Hawaii that has commented on the EOS R review video. He'll probably comment on this one too, which would be great. And he sent me a Dropbox with some images, and he has the identical problem. And then I got to thinking, well, is it just my camera, or is this a global issue? So today, right now, I went and I just drove an hour to one of my friends who also has the R, and we put her camera on the tripod right next to mine, and we shot back to back, and I was able to reproduce the exact same problem. So that tells me that the band issue that I'm getting, at least, is a global problem. This is a timing issue because it goes away as soon as you use TTL. So it's a timing synchronization in manual mode with flashes. It's something that I suspect is user updatable with a firmware, but I don't know that Canon is aware of this problem, because when I called and spoke with the team over at Canon CPS, nobody seemed to understand this problem. They all claimed that they've never seen it. So hopefully this video will clear that up so you guys can see that this is in fact an issue and needs to be addressed, okay? All right, guys, so here is the setup where we're getting the banding under HSS on the EOS R. So before I show you, first off here, we're using the ProPhoto B10 system, and we have the remote here. Let me just wake it up. And we are firing in manual mode in high-speed sync, and over there is the light. We're just going to shoot against this white wall, and the camera settings are down here. Let me just get the camera set. So you'll see here I'm shooting at a shutter speed of 1250 at f2.8, and the ISO there at 800, just so that you can see the shot. And I'll come down here, and we will just take a test shot. And down here on the review screen, you can see clearly the white streak, which goes right across the top of that frame. Let me just pull it back up. Right here, that white bar. And I'll even change the shutter speed here just to kind of illustrate. We can go up in shutter speed to 1600. It's there. We can go down. We'll change the shutter speed to 800. We'll take this shot, and it's there. Obviously the exposure of the whole frame will change, but the bar itself remains consistent. So it's not a matter of, I think, we're catching a shutter blade. I think it's a matter of some sort of electronical timing that is not right. Now, thankfully, I have another EOS R right down here, which is my friend's camera, and I'm going to throw it up here on the tripod, and we are going to do the same exact test to see if it is just my camera or if in fact her camera does it as well. So I'm going to try to keep this in a continuous frame, so I'm just going to come around here and we'll set this down. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and swap out the cameras now. Of course, I only have one tripod plate. By the way, her camera has the grip on it. I really like it. It's really nice. It definitely adds a nice mass to the body if you need it. So we'll throw hers up here on the tripod, and we'll recenter it up a bit here. Okay, and let me get the remote off my camera. Turn it off first. Okay. Turn it on. Manual, high speed. I'll set it to 1250, 2.8, ISO, whatever it is. Doesn't even really matter. Okay, there it is. Let me show you. Just pull up that last shot, and you can see the top bar right there. I'll do another shot here again. And there's the bar again. And again, there's the settings of the camera and on the remote. And that's now two EOS Rs that do the same thing. So real quick, I'm just going to switch this over to a Godox flash, just so to rule out that it's not just happening with Profoto lights. Oh, one interesting thing here that I wanted to show is that if we change the flash over to TTL and we take the same shot, you'll notice that there is no bar. There is no bar. And even if we change the shutter speed around, I don't know, let's just go to 800 and do the same thing here. We'll take the shot, and there is no bar. It only does it when the flash is in manual mode and we have it stapled down. That's when we get the bar. So that's why I don't think that this is a physical problem. I don't think it's a defect. I don't think it's a mechanical issue. I don't believe that the camera is defective at all. It's just the timing needs to be addressed in a firmware update for sure. So I'm going to switch over to the Godox Speedlight just to kind of show you guys that it happens with that as well, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, and so now we have a Godox flash over here. We have, this is a what is it? A V850 Mark II. So this is a non-TTL flash. This is a manual power only. And then over here we're using the X Pro C remote. It's Group B. I have the power dialed up so that you can see it against the wall. And we'll just shoot with this random setting here. I do have the remote set in the high speed mode, so that's all set. We'll go ahead, we'll just take a quick shot. And again, if we look at the very top, if we look at the very top of the frame, you can see that bright stripe cutting right across that frame. By the way, these blue lines on my friend's camera are just part of the camera itself. She has the grid lines enabled on the review, so on mine I don't have that. But anyway, you can see it's the same thing here with the Godox flash. There may be a subtle difference between the Godox line and the Profoto one, but overall it's the same problem, and it needs to be fixed. All right, guys, so that's it. Once again, thanks for watching. If you have similar issues with your Canon EOS R, please drop comments in there below. It would be great to help troubleshoot this and for Canon to see what the impact is. On the flip side, if you have an EOS R and you can properly replicate this without any of these issues, please make just a down and dirty cell phone video like I am now. Show me the issue and upload that video to YouTube or put it on Dropbox and send me a link so that I can take a look at that video and also submit that to Canon so that we can kind of come together here and show this issue. And again, before I sign off on this, I want to be perfectly clear. Despite the fact that it has this issue, it's very difficult for this. I mean, this doesn't affect my opinion of the camera at all. I'm very confident that we'll get it squared away one way or another, even if it means getting another unit here. I still love the camera. It's still my primary workhorse. I've been using it like crazy. I love it to death. Everything else about it is just immaculate. The images out of this camera are so sick. Wait until you guys see the shots of this sexy model that I'm going to put up from this Profoto B10 video review. Just the colors, the way that everything pops out of this camera is just phenomenal, and I absolutely love it. And despite the fact that there's this band in HSS, it's hard to be in a situation where that would compromise anything. It's so thin, and at 30 megapixels, guys, I move the crop over like 2 millimeters and it's gone. So, I mean, I'm just being realistic here. All right, so anyway, but nevertheless, I wanted to let you guys know, okay? I'm an honest tiger. I wanted to let you guys know, full disclosure, that things aren't completely perfect with that camera, okay? All right, so if I come across anything else or if anything else changes, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Thanks so much.